Okay, sir.
Okay, students, today we are going to see the another model. This is mainly meant for the development of kidney. So this is the earliest stage, this is the late stage. So already we studied about it in the theory. So actually we have pronephros, mesonephros and metanephros. Pronephros in the early stage, actually it is non-functional in human. Next we have mesonephros and metanephros. So mesonephros will be functional for some time. Actually if you see this mesonephros, that undergoes segmentation to form your tubules. Actually these are the mesonephric tubules. Okay. So where we are having that pronephros. So that pronephros is formed in the cervical region. Okay. So it is non-functional, so completely degenerates, but we have formation of duct for this. So that is pronephric duct. What is marked in red color is the pronephric duct. If you trace the same duct, that is continuing as, or it is renamed as mesonephric duct. So this is the mesonephric duct system. So if you trace it down, that drains into the your endodermal cloaca. So this is the mesonephric duct opening into endodermal cloaca. Okay, so first pronephros, mesonephros and metanephros. So here if you see that metanephros undergoes segmentation. So then tubule formations are there in it. So here you are able to make out. So this part of mesonephros undergoes segmentation to form mesonephric tubules. So this mesonephros is functional for some time. Okay, so that's why all are draining into this your mesonephric duct. So whatever urine secreted will pass through this mesonephric duct that opens into the endodermal cloaca. So what is this endodermal cloaca is important. So already you know that we studied about our gut system, primitive gut. So this is our foregut, this is our midgut. So they are the junction of foregut and midgut. Already we have seen we have the formation of hepatic butt or hepatic diverticulum. So this is foregut, midgut, then your hindgut comes. From the hindgut we have one diverticulum, so that is allantoic diverticulum. So this is the allantoic diverticulum. At the same time you know this is your midgut. So midgut is connected to the yolk sac through vitelo-intestinal duct. So this is the vitelo-intestinal duct. This is the allantoic diverticulum. Both are present in the your connecting stalk. Okay. So now what is that endodermal cloaca? So if you take your hindgut, that is divided into pre-allantoic part and post-allantoic part by the formation of your allantoic diverticulum. So this allantoic diverticulum arises from the hindgut. Okay. So now the part of hindgut cranial to that is called as pre-allantoic part of hindgut. This part is called as post-allantoic part of hindgut. It is otherwise called as endodermal cloaca. So this is endodermal cloaca. Into that only we are having opening of the mesonephric duct. Now important point, already you studied, this endodermal cloaca is divided into anterior part and posterior part. So a septum will be formed here. That septum is called as urorectal septum. So that descends downwards and completely separates this endodermal cloaca into anterior part and posterior part. Anterior part is called as primitive urogenital sinus. Your posterior part is called as primitive rectum. So endodermal cloaca is divided into primitive urogenital sinus. If you see that draining of your mesonephric duct, it is draining into the anterior part of endodermal cloaca. That is nothing but our feature urinary bladder. Okay, so the mesonephric tubules are functional for some time. They are secreting the urine. They are that urine is drained by this mesonephric duct and ultimately it goes to future urinary bladder. Okay, so now pronephros, mesonephros. Then what we have is the metanephros that is present at the lower level. That's why developing kidney originally placed in the pelvis, then only it ascends upwards. So this metanephros only forms our final kidney. So if you take your final kidney, you are having two components. So collecting part and secretory part. So this is that collecting part, this is the secreting part. If you see the development of collecting part, that is derived from a bud that is getting originated from the mesonephric duct. So this is the mesonephric duct, already you know, it opens into the urogenital sinus. Now this ureteric bud arises from the mesonephric duct. Okay, so that ureteric bud enters into this metanephric kidney. So now this small part of metanephric kidney is called as metanephric blastema. So this ureteric bud enters into this metanephric blastema and induces differentiation. Oh, so this ureteric bud, I see, this is the ureteric bud. Actually it forms ureter, then it forms pelvis, then major calyces, minor calyces, like that, continuously up to the collecting tubule. All are derived from this ureteric bud. So development of collecting part of the kidney is from the ureteric bud. That ureteric bud is getting originated from mesonephric duct. Now what about the secretory part? So that is derived from this metanephric blastema. So that is your Bowman's capsule, glomerulus. Into that you will be having entering of the glomerulus. Then remaining part, your proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, everything is derived from this metanephric blastema that we have seen in detail in theory class. All those diagrams you have to revise now. Okay, so that is the fate of our metanephric kidney. Okay, so pronephros, mesonephros, metanephros. So this is metanephric kidney. So this is the ureteric bud getting originated from the your mesonephric duct. So as I told already, this urogenital sinus forms urinary bladder. So this mesonephric duct will get absorbed into that. So this part of mesonephric duct forms our trigone of the urinary bladder. So automatically your ureter will open into the urinary bladder. Okay, so that is the development of the kidney. So even though this model is meant for kidney, so you are able to make out the gut system also. So you should be able to enumerate what are the derivatives of foregut, midgut, your hindgut also. So this is vitellointestinal duct. What happens to this vitellointestinal duct? What happens to this allandic diverticulum? That also you should be able to tell. So actually both are getting degenerated, but sometimes persist to form your Meckel's diverticulum. So this is vitellointestinal duct, persists to form our vitellointestinal duct. That and already you studied, so you have to recollect, you have to answer for that. Like that, what happens to the your allandic diverticulum? If persists means what happens? That and already I told. Okay, so this model is mainly meant for urinary system. Okay, thank you.